Welcome back to another episode of the Pickle Pulse. I am your host, Brian Green, and today is another Christmas day, another new paddle. There are so many good ones to talk about, but today we are going to talk Thrive Pickleball. The Thrive Azul 16 millimeter has hit. Actually, I got it about 3 weeks ago, and I really wanted to give this a solid play test as I thought that this had the potential to be one of my main paddles. This paddle is a carbon fiber and Kevlar blended surface. So that was intriguing to me immediately because I love Kevlar and the way that it is softer when the ball hits the paddle. I love the way that it dwells on the face, and I love it for resets because it makes it just so much easier. Even if your grip isn't the softest, the paddle seems to absorb the ball and put it over the net in the right place, or sometimes into the net because I'm playing pickleball and things happen. So with this blended face and the carbon fiber in it, I was hoping, and I heard, that it would be a little bit more poppy than the Ruby that I've been playing with for the past 4 or 5 months. The Ruby is a fantastic paddle. It's 100% Kevlar. You guys have heard about it. It's one of the most popular paddles out there, and it seems to be ripping off the shelf. I wanted to talk to you guys about this because, in my opinion, this is Ruby 2.0, meaning it's the next step in the paddle series. Let's talk a little bit about specs, and then I will tell you why I think this paddle is that much better than the Ruby. So the Thrive Azul is a thermoform paddle with foam injected walls, just like all of the Gen 2 paddles. It has, like I said, a carbon fiber and Kevlar surface, and what's really cool about these paddles is that you can select your swing weight. Thrive is really into customizing your paddles. When I reviewed the Threat and the Rush a couple of months ago, I was really taken by them because you could order them at just the weight that you wanted, and they really played well for a classic Gen 2 paddle. The swing weights on these can be anywhere from 114 to 119. The total length of the paddle is 16.3 inches. So it is that hybrid shape, but it's just a little bit shorter. I know a lot of them are 16.5. And that tiny little bit, I have missed a skosh, but not a ton. The width is 7.7 inches, and the grip circumference is 4.125 inches. The grip length is 5.5 inches, and it is a honeycomb core, like most of the paddles out there. It's 16 millimeters, so it is a bit more forgiving and does have an edge guard on it. This is an USA approved pickleball paddle, so you can play in all your sanctioned tournaments with it. And what's really cool is it comes with a custom weight card. Let me show you mine that came in. So here's the card that comes with it, and it gives you your swing weight, your twist weight, the balance point, how head heavy it is, and then the static weight of the actual paddle. The other cool thing is it will give you 6 3-gram lead tape strips. It came in supposedly at 8.17. I always like to weigh them, so I have my scale just sitting here right in front of me, and I'm going to pop this on here. And right now my paddle is coming in at 8.28, and that's with this awesome Wilson perforated overgrip that I found in neon green last time I was out. I thought it looked kind of cool with the blue. I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. Do you like the green with the blue, or would you go classic white? Because that's normally where I would go. One of those two colors. So it came in at exactly what is supposed to come in. And I will say that it does feel a little head heavy at time. I think the next one that I get, I would go a little lighter, somewhere in like the 115 swing weight. I tried to put lead tape on the sides. You'll see that I don't have any on it right now. I've been playing with this paddle for about 3 to 4 weeks, and I took the lead tape off because I felt that the paddle just got a little heavy for me, starting to feel some issues in my shoulder and my arm, and so I took it off, and to be honest, I don't think the paddle needs it at all. Now let's talk about the grit on this paddle. One of the things that I loved about the Ruby is the Kevlar holds up over time. It's one of the reasons that I think I'm going to stick with Kevlar as my main paddles, simply because the grit stays on the paddle. It really does. My original Ruby has grit on it, and I'll tell you, I've been playing with this one for almost a month now, and the paddle is still fierce while feeling like it is not illegal. So I'm getting a lot of bend on the ball. Because of the extra pop, it's going a little bit faster. And the spin rates, according to John Q, are one of the top tier paddles, or at least close to it. Why did I choose to go to this paddle over the Ruby? The first thing is the Ruby is a fantastic, what I would call all-purpose, all-court paddle. It does everything really well, so it's definitely worth the money. But what Thrive has done with the Azul is, by adding the carbon fiber to the face, it has just a little bit more pop. And because it's blended with Kevlar, it still has that softness and that dwell time that I really love in a paddle. So this is essentially a Ruby with, I would say, 20% more pop on your drives, but still super controllable for all of your resets, all of the dinking. The other thing that I really like about this paddle is, after playing with some of the Gen 3s out there, the Onis, the Alphas, the Colin Johns just behind me, I find that when I play, if I'm comfortable with the paddle and I feel like I can swing hard because of my play style, I play much better. And every time I've grabbed a Gen 3 paddle, I just feel like I'm holding back the whole time because I'm scared of what's going to happen. Is the ball going to cannon off of the face? Am I going to miss it a little bit and it'll be a normal shot? The biggest issue with the Gen 3s, other than they're now illegal based on USA Pickleball, and then we'll see what Yola does to kind of combat that. But the biggest issue I have with those paddles is, if you don't hit it perfectly over and over every time, you don't get the same consistent feel. With the Thrive Azul, that's exactly what you get. I feel like no matter where I hit it on the paddle face, it's very, very comparable. You know, obviously when it's right in the sweet spot, it feels great and it goes a little bit faster. But overall, it's not to the point where I feel like when I hit it in the sweet spot, it goes twice as fast. And that's what I was getting with the Gen 3s. So the Thrive Azul, I think, is going to be my go-to paddle until someone else brings something to the table that I feel better with. If you're a fan of the Ruby, then I would highly recommend you grabbing this paddle, and that it's going to play very similar. It's going to give you a little bit more pop for your rolls, for your flicks up at the kitchen line, and definitely more pop on your drives. And if you're like me and you drive first and drop last, then you definitely want that pop at the back of the kitchen line. Other than that, I would say that this is an overall really good looking paddle, and that's something I'm into. I like things that look cool, and I think this turned out really, really nice. So Thrive, excellent job on this paddle. The way that you can order these is to go to thrivepickleball.com, and you can use my code, which I will put right here, which is Pulse10, and that'll give you 10% off the paddle. They come in at $199, and with 10% off, I think it's $170 and some change. It's a fantastic value. You don't have to spend $200+ to get a great paddle these days. Thrive has really hit the mark on these paddles, and I will definitely look forward to seeing what they're going to bring to the table in the future. If you have any questions or comments, definitely put it down below. I'd love to answer them. Also, if I see you out on the courts, come up and say hello. If you're enjoying these paddle reviews and you're enjoying the channel, we do a little bit of podcasting. We do a little bit of paddle review, and I certainly would love to see you back. And if you would, just hit that like button, hit that subscribe. It helps this small channel go a long ways, and I appreciate you very much. Until the next time.